it was a tiny bit satire, I stuck with my choice of a 10 because I really enjoyed the decoration and I think the gameplay is incredibly silly. Firstly, the deco is simplistic yet pretty. I think it just looks really good. Second, the gameplay is actually not as bad as you think, and it's not super spam heavy. If you don't take the WizKid coin, just don't take it and you don't have to do that mini wave. Overall, 10 out of 10 would rage bait again.
I'm surprised people don't like the Apocalyptic trilogy, because for me it's a beautiful remake of After Catabath, where the new modern hell decorations make these legendary hell levels look quite different, but still familiar. In my opinion, it's not over-decorated or soulless like some people might say. It's legitimately just a good remake of After Catabath, so why not give it a 9 out of 10? I think it's deserved it. I think AP Team does make good decorations, and yeah. Sinister Silence is one of those levels where you need to watch all of the almost 9 minutes of this level to understand just how much it blows everything else on the demon list out of the water. I heard some people got bored of it in the first 2 minutes of watching the level. Like, why? The beginning is kinda boring, yeah, but it gets so much better. The song is a banger, gameplay and deco are unique and interesting. Do I need to say anything else? It's an 11 out of 10. Just watch the whole thing, please. You will understand it.
Cobwebs is in some ways a perfect level that ultimately sums up everything wrong with current extremes. Extremely boring and lackluster deco that looks like an amateurish attempt at making glow design. Highly basic gameplay that only relies on short bursts of wave segments to gain its difficulty. And its short length isn't used in any meaningful way to try to give off a feeling of intensity or emergency. It's clearly short just to put out a half-assed level.
Shardscapes is the only level that I gave a 1 out of 10 rating that I'd beaten, and I didn't think it would be fair to give my 0 to a level I hadn't played. This is one of the most boring and uninteresting levels on the whole list, and I even fell asleep playing it once or twice.
I'm Ivory, and I gave Sandsailor a 1 because I judge levels based off 3 different things, that being gameplay, if I've played the level, deco, and song, in that order of most importantly is important. And in this instance, Sandsailor's gameplay, which I can't really get into for that much time, is really bad. I do not like it. I played it for a decent amount of time, I did runs on it, and I just hated the gameplay. And the deco is also just personally just not for me in general. I don't think it looked good. If you think it looked good, it's completely fine, but just personally, just not for me at all. And along with that, the song is just really bad. The drop sounds like 18 billion car horns blasting into your ear with like different pitches. You can take this with a grain of salt because my opinions do change from month for month, but for currently right now, I can confidently say that Sand Sailor is a 1 out of 10.
price. It's over rice, that's what I like. That's what we like. Lost my respect. That booty wet. When I suck the cock, I get wetty with my neck. See the cock that I.
The Hallucination is one of my least favorite levels on the list. To be honest, when it came out originally, I thought it was a joke level. The boring grey modern 9 circles design goes on for so long that I thought the showcase was looping. I mostly rated it so low because of my negative bias towards 9 circles levels and because of its extremely repetitive and boring decoration.
Okay, first thing, Kyoki is a level with flow gameplay, meaning that for quite literally the entire length of the level, none of the gameplay stands out to me, as it's quickly switching game modes. Along with the clean, safe, generic deco looking the same throughout the level, it's not memorable for me at all. Secondly, music in a level matters quite a lot for my enjoyment. The song here is so grating to listen to. I really have no idea how the creator listened to this song and thought, oh yeah, let's make a level out of this. Honestly, it sounds like dog shit to me. I do not like the song, deco and gameplay. That's why I'm giving it a 2 out of 10.
escape.